Canto 2 from the Cantos by Ezra Pound. Hang it all, Robert Browning. There can be but the one Sordello. But Sordello and my Sordello. Lo Sordel's si fodi Mantovana. So shoe churned in the sea. Seal sports in the spray-whited circles of cliff wash. Sleek head, daughter of Lear, eyes of Picasso. Under black fur hood, lithe daughter of ocean. And the wave runs in the beach groove. Eleanor. And poor old Homer, blind as a bat. Ear for the sea surge. Murmur of old men's voices. Let her go back to the ships, back among Grecian faces, lest evil come on our own, evil and further evil, and a curse cursed on our children. Moves, yes, she moves like a goddess, and has the face of a god, and the voice of Shoni's daughters, and doom goes with her in walking. Let her go back to the ships, back among Grecian voices. And by the beach-run Tyro, twisted arms of the sea god, lithe sinews of water, gripping her, cross-hold, and the blue-gray glass of the wave tense them. Glare azure of water, cold welter, close cover, quiet sun-tawny sand stretch, the gulls broad out their wings, nipping between the splay feathers. Snipe, come for their bath, bend out their wing joints, spread wet wings to the sun film, and by Chios, to left of the Naxos passage, naviform rock overgrown, algae cling to its edge. There is a wine-red glow in the shallows, a tin flash in the sun dazzle. The ship landed in Chios, men wanting spring water, and by the rock pool a young boy loggy with vine must. To Naxos. Yes, we'll take you to Naxos. Come along, lad. Not that way. Aye, that way is Naxos. And I said, it's a straight ship, and an ex-convict out of Italy knocked me into the forestays. He was wanted for manslaughter in Tuscany, and the whole 20 against me, mad for a little slave money, and they took her out of Chios and off her course. And the boy came to again with the racket, and looked out over the bows, and to eastward, and to the Naxos passage. God slate then, God slate, ship stock fast in sea swirl, ivy upon the oars, King Pentheus, grapes with no seed but sea foam, ivy in scupper hole. I, Ascetes, stood there, and the god stood by me, water cutting under the keel. Sea break from stern foreheads, wake running off from the bow, and where was gunwale, there now was vine trunk, and tenthril where cordage had been, grape leaves on the rowlocks, heavy vine on the oar shafts, and out of nothing a breathing, hot breath on my ankles, beasts like shadows in glass, a furred tail upon nothingness, lynx purr, and heathery smell of beasts where tar smell had been. Sniff and pad foot of beasts, eye glitter out of black air, the sky overshot, dry with no tempest, sniff and pad foot of beasts, fur brushing my knee skin, rustle of airy sheaths, dry forms in the aether, and the ship like a keel in shipyard, slung like an ox in smith's sling, ribs stuck fast in the ways. Grape cluster over pin rack, void air taking pelt, lifeless air becomes sign-wed, feline leisure of panthers, leopards sniffing the grape shoots by scupper hole, crouched panthers by forehatch, and the sea blue, deep about us, green, ruddy in shadows. And Laius, from now, Ascetes, my altars, fearing no bondage, fearing no cat of the wood, safe with my lynxes, feeding grapes to my leopards. Olibanum is my incense, the vines grow in my homage. The back swell now smooth in the rudder chains, black snout of a porpoise, where lycabs have been. Fish scales on the oarsman, and I worship. I have seen what I have seen. When they brought the boy, I said, He has a god in him, though I do not know which god. And they kicked me into the forestays. I have seen what I have seen. Medon's face like the face of a dory, arms shrunk into fins. And you, Pentheus, had as well listened to Tiresias and to Cadmus, or your luck will go out of you. Fish scales over groin muscles, lynx purr amid sea, and of a later year, pale in the wine-red algae, if you will lean over the rock, the coral face under wave tinge, rose paleness under water shift. Eleutheria, fair Daphne of seaboards, the swimmer's arms turned to branches. Who will say in what year, fleeing what band of Tritons, the smooth brows, seen and half seen, now ivory stillness, and Soshu churned in the sea, Soshu also, using the long moon for a churnstick. Lithe turning of water, sinews of Poseidon, black azure and hyaline, glass wave over Tyro, close cover, unstillness, bright welter of wave chords, then quiet water, quiet in the buff sands, seafowl stretching wing joints, splashing in rock hollows and sand hollows, in the wave runs by the half-dune, glass glint of wave in the tide rips against sunlight, pallor of Hesperus, gray peak of the wave color of grapes pulp, olive gray in the near, far, smoke gray of the rock slide, salmon pink wings of the fish hawk cast gray shadows in water. The tower like a one-eyed great goose cranes up out of the olive grove. And we have heard the fawns chiding Proteus in the smell of hay under the olive trees, and the frogs singing against the fawns in the half-light, and